Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is Babar Ali. I want, in the next many minutes, I'm going to record packages presence in Africa. Somewhere in early 71 or late 70, I got a cable. In those days, telegrams coming from overseas was known as cable. A cable from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, from a gentleman by the name of Mr. Maramba, to asking for an appointment. So I immediately responded. I said, "You're most welcome." So he arrived here and he sat across the table, this very table where I'm sitting. And I said, "Welcome, what can we do for you?" He said, "I'm looking for a general manager for our corrugating plant that we have taken over." You see, what happened was when Tanzania got independence, they nationalized most of the industry that belonged to non-Tanzanians, and most of the industry belonged to Indians who were mostly Aga Khanis. So he said, "I'm looking for a general manager for our corrugating plant." And I asked him, I said, "What happened to your last general manager?" He said, "He died in a motor accident." And there and then I said, "Why do you want to hire another person? Why don't you hire a company which cannot be run over by any car, cannot die in an accident?" He said, "I never thought of it." So I said, "My suggestion would be, if you want somebody from us, you hire the company rather than an individual." So he said, "Let me check up." So he sent a message back to Tanzania, and the next morning he came, he said, "Yes, we are agreeable to work with you as a company to advise us." Then I said, "Before we say yes to take over this responsibility, I'd like to send one of our senior members of our company to Tanzania to go and see whether we can provide any support, whether our going there will make a difference." So I then requested Irshad Hussain, who was my colleague and general manager of packages, to go to Tanzania. And he went there and he came back and he said, "There is good potential of our making a contribution." So then we decided, and we then requested Tanveer Ahmed, who was a member of our company in the marketing department and who had management experience, to be the first person to go out there and pitch his tent and start this operation. And along with him, we sent some of our technicians to help him to run the plant. So this is how we went to Tanzania. Then, with Tanveer's presence there, he kept on expanding the involvement in a company called Print Pack, and also expansion of the corrugating plant in Tanzania. So we then sent more people from here. And of course, our intention was to send people with their families so that they could concentrate on their work. The big advantage was that we were very keen that the family should have an exposure of international living, and their children could go to an international school. So this whole exercise and our involvement with National Development Corporation was for about 10 years. A few years later, when we were there, they said, "Can you help us in the textile and the shoe industry, which we have nationalized, and there again we want to help?" So I asked the Sehgal family to send a representative to help them improve their operation in the textile industry, and I asked service industry. Unfortunately, the people that they sent out there did not have the same motivation or the passion to serve the Tanzanians. They were serving themselves rather than others. So within a year, they all came back. So, but we stayed on, and it was a wonderful relationship with Tanzania. I went there several times. I used to go there almost more than once a year to be with our people. So two of the people who were there, Tanveer Ahmed is here, so and then Rafi Iqbal followed him along with some other people who were there. So it was a very very agreeable and a very satisfying kind of involvement. Many years later, when I was there, I asked Maramba, I said, how did you pick us up? And here is something that I would like the packages people to reflect on it. We had a program here where we informed the government of Pakistan that our factory was open to any foreign visitors that you want to bring here. Not only foreign visitors, but even people from within government. If any of your groups that are training, wanting to know how industry is working, we will welcome them here. We gave them lunch, we looked after them. And Maramba said that he was here on a World Bank program and studying management, and they brought him to packages. And he said, when the question of helping of finding somebody to manage the packaging industry in Tanzania, I said, I know a company in Pakistan. So the moral of the story is that this program that we had of inviting, welcoming people to come and visit our factory and sharing our industry ended up in this thing. Some years later, Harvard Business School heard about our effort in Tanzania, and they sent one of their professors to write a case on packages. And I remember Mr. Lou Wells, who was a professor at Harvard Business School, he came and interviewed people who had been to Tanzania, interviewed Tanveer, interviewed Rafi Iqbal, interviewed others, interviewed blue-collar workers. And he said, you know, what you did, you sent your people to a better learning institute than the Harvard Business School. They learned much more because the person went out as a captain and came back as a colonel in 2 years' time. The other thing that we insisted on was every 2 years we rotated so that maximum number of people from packages could benefit. And my own feeling is more than 200 individuals had this opportunity to go to Tanzania and get their children educated in international schools, and I can see the benefit that accrued. Tanveer's own boys went to a school there, and then later on, of course, they got the foundation of learning. Rafi Iqbal's family also went there, so it was a wonderful experience. And we cannot think the company was not getting very much. We were getting $50,000 a year as a fee. But the real benefit was to our individuals. They were being paid foreign currency. Each one of them was able to build a house when they came back. So it was a big advantage to the people who we sent, and we were very happy that our people had this opportunity. And I must say, they all served very loyally. They conducted themselves in a very ethical way. They treated the Tanzanian company as if with the same loyalty as they did at packages. So we were very happy with this experience. Then the International Finance Corporation, which is part of the World Bank, also learnt about this thing. And they came to us and they said, we have a request from Zambia that they want to set up a packaging industry. And we've got a local partner who was a former finance minister there, Mr. Kasonde. And he will be your partner. IFC will provide the money, and we want you to take up an equity interest in that company. So we agreed to that, and we sent another team headed by Syed Ali, who was a member of our senior management at that time, and he took Munawar Malik and a couple of other people with him there. Then another opportunity came. We were approached by a company having a corrugating plant in Somalia. And this was set up by the Italians, and when Somalia became independent, the Italians left. So we were then asked to take over the plant, and we sent a couple of people from here to manage that. Then a very interesting challenge came to us. I had met a gentleman, Mr. Ahmed Nasruddin, who originally came from Eritrea, which was a part of Ethiopia at that time. He had set up base in Milan. As you know, Italy had a footprint in Ethiopia and Eritrea. So just as we from Pakistan, look to England as our sort of second home, the Eritreans were looking at Italy as their second home. So Mr. Ahmed Nasruddin set up a base in Milan. He was a very enterprising person, not educated much, but full of energy and ideas. Because his first wife was from Saudi Arabia, and he spoke Arabic fluently, he managed to get himself appointed as the honorary consul for Kuwait in Milan. So that was how he got close to the Italian Foreign Office. And when Nigeria became independent and had oil, so many of the European countries wanted to have a footprint in Nigeria. So the Italians looked around, and they found that Mr. Nasruddin spoke Arabic. He was was a consul for Kuwait, and Nigeria being majority Muslim, so they took him as a part of the Italian delegation to Nigeria to see how Nigeria and Italy could work together. And Mr. Nasruddin found that opportunity, and in northern Nigeria, in an area called something Plateau in Jos, he set up a base. And now, while he came to Pakistan, he asked the Kuwaiti foreign minister if he knew anybody in Pakistan. And my elder brother, Syed Ali, after he retired as the finance minister, was asked by the World Bank to lead a mission to Kuwait to advise them as to how they could diversify their investment other than from oil, all the money that they were getting from oil. And he was asked to take a delegation there to advise them how they could invest in other things. And they among other things, they suggested the Kuwait Airline and Kuwait Insurance Company and Kuwait Bank. Then Nasruddin, when they asked the foreign minister in Kuwait that can you introduce me to somebody in Pakistan? So they said, yes, we know Mr. Amjad Ali. So Mr. Nasruddin arrived in Lahore, and he called on my brother. And my brother soon found out that he had nothing in common with Nasruddin. So he called me up and he said, there's somebody from Milan, can you take care of him? So this is how Nasruddin came to see me, and I looked after him. He was a very gentleman, not very educated, but very well cultured. So I showed him packages, and there and then, I mean, he was very keen. He said, I want to set up a packaging plant in Jos. And I said, you know, packaging needs consumer industry, and there is no consumer industry. I said, I'll send somebody. So I don't know whether you went there or Tanveer, we sent Tanveer to go and investigate. And there was no industry there at all. He had set up a jute mill in Jos. So then a few years later, he set up a biscuit factory. Then he set up a detergent plant. And then finally, he said, now we are ready for a packaging plant. So we then agreed. We said, we won't put any money in. We'll provide technicians the same way as we did for NDC. We sent him there. We sent Tanveer there. And we soon found out that Nasruddin had no experience of management of industry. He had a whole he had a very large number of relatives who arrived from Tanzania, from Eritrea, and he had to give them a job. And they had no clue of what industry was all about. So our people were not very comfortable with that. So we then, after a couple of years, we withdrew from Nigeria. But we had a good, I mean, our people had a good time. Tanveer, his boys had grown up, and they went to a very good school in Jos, and they benefited from that schooling. So whether we learned anything or not, our colleagues who were seconded there had a very good time. So it was a good experience. And so this is, I just wanted to record this for the sake of the future generation of packages, of what we did in Africa and how we conducted ourselves. And I must say, there was no black spot on us or the conduct of other people we sent there. And this is something that we have to maintain for the future also. So thank you very much for listening to this story. I hope our future generation of packages will learn something from it.